we're sitting with Colleen Coble. She has written, oh my goodness, so many books. The Rock Harbor series, she's gone to Hawaii and written the Aloha series. Her most recent one is Lone Star Sanctuary and Lone Star Angel.
Yep, that's the newest.
That's the
Lone
newest,
Star series.
and that's what we're going to be
just
talking
coming out.
about. Yep. And she has another one that we're going to be talking about in just a few minutes called Smitten, that's coming out, which is a real God effort with 4 authors. Which
it was so fun.
Yeah, it was a collaborative effort that was just amazing. First of all, why don't you have people why don't you tell a little bit about yourself?
Okay, well, my first book came out in 1998. I'm going to be 60 in January, so a little bit of a shock to me to think that I'm going to be 60, but there it is. I have one grandchild who happened to just turn 3 yesterday. So
is she Punky?
That's Punky. That's our Punky, yeah, and she's the light of our lives. And so being a grandmother is like the best thing ever. I absolutely love it. And I'll be married to my husband 40 years this year.
Wow, congratulations.
Yes, and it's been a challenging year because he was diagnosed with prostate cancer earlier in the year, but he's doing great. His last 2 PSAs have been 0, so we're praising the Lord for that. And
that is...
I live in Indiana and have lived there all my life, so I'm a Hoosier and have those small town values and Midwest values, and that comes through in my books too. I'm a small town girl.
And the truth of the matter is she loves chocolate.
You got my secret, Diane. You want to get on my good side, you send me chocolate.
Now, how did you come up with the concept for Lone Star Angel?
All of the Lone Star books are marriage of convenience stories, which I love writing because, daily we make choices about love and commitment, and you never have a long-term marriage without facing those challenges. And sometimes you're thinking, why did I marry this person? But love is a choice every day, and so I loved writing that in the Lone Star books, and I love having kids in stories. And somehow I don't even know where the idea came from. It just kind of came to me that what would happen if a woman had thought she was divorced and was moving on with her life, and as often happens after a child's death, a marriage can really stumble and have some problems. And she finds out that not only is she not divorced, but that the child she thought died in a kidnapping attempt is still alive, and her husband needs her help to figure out which of these 5 children, which one of those little girls is theirs. And oh my goodness, that was so fun to write. So
now, speaking of writing about which one is theirs, and how did you come up with, I should have known, but how did you come up with Kidnapping?
I wanted the child to be alive, and so I was thinking, how would she not know for sure that the child was dead or alive? And so I got to thinking about a water death, where it appears the child has drowned, and what would lead to that. Plus, I needed a current a current villain, and so the easiest thing to do is to take that initial incident as having started the whole process of the suspense thread that goes all the way through, and so they needed to be tied together. So that's what I came up with.
Now, how did you choose West Texas as your location? Now, there is an isolated environment.
It is. The Big Bend area is a national park, but it is the least visited of the national parks, and it's because it is so remote. Even when you get down into that area, it takes you hours to drive to it, but it's absolutely gorgeous. And
so you've been there?
Yes, I have. I like to write a story only after I've actually seen it.
And participate.
Yeah, when I went down there to research that first Lone Star book, if you know me, you know that I am terrified of spiders. And so we were going down there, and it was in September, and if any of you are living in that area, you may know that the tarantulas have a migration during that area.
Oh, is that why they were so prevalent in the book?
Yes, and we got there, and we were driving down this remote sort of road. It was technically a highway, but we never saw another car on it, and we kept seeing these black things along the side of the road, and some of them were like crossing the road, and I thought, no, couldn't be tarantulas. No, no, no. Don't go there, Colleen. Don't even think it. Don't. And finally, Dave stopped the car, and he said, you know, have you been seeing those black things? I think they might be tarantulas. And I'm going to check. I said, no, don't get out of the car. What if one hops on your leg? What if one gets in the car? And I was freaking out, and he gets out and takes a picture of it. Dummy.
Now, what made you put together Broken Horses and Broken Children?
I read a book once. It was called Hope Rising.
Yes.
Yes.
By Peter.
Yeah. And I thought, what a great premise for a story. And I love horses. I grew up on a farm. I had horses myself. And I didn't realize what a healing touch that horses could have and that children could have to the horses. And oh, it just touched my heart to read that book. And so I decided I wanted to have a ranch that way, that kind of a ranch. And I set it in West Texas just because I loved that area, that Big Bend area, and I love the desert, and it was very Western feeling to me, so I kind of liked it, and that's how that happened.
Now, what was the most interesting fact that you learned when you wrote Lone Star Angel?
The most interesting fact for that particular book. I was studying a little bit about, without giving too much of the plot away, some things about mental illness, and it's really an eye-opener what people and families deal with when they have to face that. Really a big challenge. So.
Well said. Now, what aspects of being a writer do you enjoy the most?
People have asked me that before, and I actually love it all. Isn't it awful?
No,
there ought to be something that I hate,
great.
but I love the initial creation. My favorite part is the editing process. When I get my substantive letter from my editor, I'm like, oh yay, my agent or my editors are here. So I get to go back to the storyboard and tweak some more and make it even better. I love the promotional things too, because I love interacting with my readers, and I'm very much a people person, and a lot of the time, probably this is the biggest challenge, is that in the writing process you're alone a lot.
Now, speaking of people and loving people,
yes,
you have a great love for 3 other authors.
Yes.
Many authors, but 3 authors in particular. So you collaborated on Smitten, which is a charming romantic novel set in Vermont.
Yes.
And they're trying to make Smitten become the romantic capital of the nation. And let's go into that a little bit. How did the 4 of you get together to write that?
Well, my friend Dianne Hunt, the biggest disappointment, she always said, of her life is that we had all moved on to bigger houses and bigger books by the time she became friends with us, and the rest of us had gotten to do a collaboration of novellas with our previous publisher, and she'd never gotten to do that. Well, an editor that we know had approached the 4 of us about doing a novella collection, and we wanted to do it just for Di, even though it was really out of what we were doing anymore. But we wanted to do it for her. So I volunteered to talk to Amy to make sure it was okay with her that's my editor at Thomas Nelson, to make sure it was okay with her if we did this for this other editor. And as I sent that email off, I thought, I wonder if Thomas Nelson would be interested in doing a novella collection. And so I just asked Amy, and we wanted to do something very different than what had initially been asked of us. It was just going to be a little prairie romance type novella collection, but we wanted to do something very different and fun if we were going